Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get into this. So, eventful night yesterday. Thanks for everybody that came through on the stream. First off, I guess I'll walk through this. I wanted to talk about Kadarius Toney, the trade that we made going forward, and then finally what we should be targeting on day 2 of the draft. Now, that trade that the Cowboys and Eagles made, I didn't have any issue that the Eagles traded in front of us to take Devontae Smith. I know a lot of Eagles fans. They were all over my comments thinking that I'm whining because they traded up. My issue is that 2 teams within the division are making trades to screw over one other team. That's really my thing. And the Cowboys, when you look at that, when you look at what they got back, they got a 3rd round pick, and they were going to take Micah Parsons anyway. And they knew that the Giants probably weren't taking Parsons, and if we didn't, they would probably take Slater. And they knew that, Philly was taking Justin Fields. So it happens. It happens. What am I saying? Philly. They knew that Philly was taking Devontae Smith. So it happens, and it made sense for both teams. But it's just something about both of those teams being involved in a trade that just kind of really annoyed me. So it was definitely annoying to see, especially when we were so convinced. Devontae Smith kind of looked annoyed that he didn't get drafted by the Giants. And I'm not one of those fans that say everybody wants to come to the Giants. They all love the Giants. He literally looked annoyed. It seemed that the Giants gave him some kind of promise that if he's there, they're going to take him. And he was already, convinced that he will be a Joe Judge guy. Joe Judge probably reminds him a lot of Nick Saban, the way he coaches. So, he ended up not coming to the Giants. And, that's okay. Waddle didn't get there. Chase didn't get there. Smith didn't get there. And I was prepared for that months ago. And not until recently I even felt like that one of them could get there. But months ago, I was saying that all 3 wide receivers would be going in the top 10. People said that I was crazy. My only difference was that I did not think that Kyle Pitts would also go in the top 10 back then. I thought that Kyle Pitts would be the guy left over for us, and that would be someone we would take. So all the guys were gone. All the elite top shelf pass receivers were gone. So no problem with it. We just had to adjust. I would have considered Rashawn Slater. I'm sure they did. But once you get offered a 1st round pick next year, the only thing I would have probably said is I would have liked to get a 3rd round pick next year instead of a 4th round. But hopefully the Bears are so bad that they're picking top 10 1st round and they're picking top 10 in the 4th round to the point to where we're using that top 10 4th round pick. So it's almost like a 3rd round pick. So hopefully that's how that plays out. But other than that, I love the trade. The fact that we got a future first, no matter where it is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing for this team because first off, if for some reason that Daniel Jones doesn't work out, we have the draft capital to mortgage things and move up, give up things for another quarterback on another team if we needed to trade. So that gives us that draft capital first. Other thing, we can get 2 good players in the 1st round next year. And if Chicago doesn't do as well and the Giants do well, we can basically have our cake and eat it too, have that elite player that we could possibly take and still be, in the playoffs. I love the pick. I love the trade down. And then I'll get to the Kadarius Toney pick. Kadarius Toney is someone that I like. You guys know it. I've been saying it for months. He's someone that I liked in the, late teens, early 20s. He was someone I mocked probably as early as 19 to getting drafted. Before the Washington football team got Curtis Samuel, I mocked Kadarius Toney to them a couple of times. So he's someone that I thought was worth this value, worth this pick 100%. When the Giants traded their pick, I was thinking we would probably go after AVT. We might go after another guy, Darisaw, if he lasted to there. And I thought we would go after JOK and also lastly Tevin Jenkins. I was thinking Tevin Jenkins or Jalen Phillips, but a couple of those guys ended up not lasting there. When we were on the board, I was thinking that we were going to go either Darisaw, Rashad Bateman. I pretty much thought it was between those two players because those were my top two offensive guys, Darisaw and Bateman. We didn't go either one. And really my only problem with this pick at 20 is that it wasn't Rashad Bateman, because I understand that they traded down and apparently they just said we're going to take our next receiver, and that was Kadarius Toney. So I don't know why they had him ranked over Rashad Bateman, but at the end of the day, these guys know a lot more about football than I will ever know. They live, breathe, and work football. So if they say that they like Kadarius Toney more than Rashad Bateman, I'll just take their word for it, and they're going to be, the people who are going to install how he's being used. So I would have 100% taken Rashad Bateman. I think he's a bigger receiver, not that much slower than him. Really, really dominant route runner, creates a lot of separation. And I think that Rashad Bateman was literally like a half of a notch under, guys like Devontae Smith and Waddle. And if he played at Bama, he probably will be doing similar things. But we didn't get Bateman. We got Toney. And Kadarius Toney is going to be a guy who's versatile, who can play all over the field for us. People are calling him a gadget guy. He is a receiver. He's a receiver. He's a receiver who can do other things. But first and foremost, he's a receiver. He can run the full route tree. I don't want to hear anything about, questionable route running. I've seen this guy put on route running clinics. I have it on tape on this channel. I've seen him do his thing route running. So he can create separation. He can run routes. He has reliable hands. All of his drops that people talk about came at the Senior Bowl. So he's got reliable hands. I have no issues with his hands. I have no issues with this game. The only weakness that you can say is maybe he's not the best with contested catches. And I actually saw something that, he compares very favorably to Odell as far as all the physical stats. He ran a faster 40. If you even that out, it's probably about the same as Odell. He jumped higher. They're about the same height and weight. But other than that, I'm not going to really compare this guy to Odell, because Odell was a contested catch monster, and he still is. And Kadarius Toney, that's not really his game. His game is more of the catch the ball, get in the open field, make guys miss, which I guess in that point is similar to Odell. But no issue with this pick. I like it. I think he's going to contribute. We did not have a yak guy on this team that could really say made plays, that weren't there. We did not have anybody that could really do that. So, other than that, I like the pick. Moving on really quick to day 2. We're 8 minutes in. Day 2, I'm looking for an offensive lineman. I love Tevin Jenkins. I love Eichenberg, Landon Dickerson, Creed Humphrey. Those are 4 guys to mention right now. Maybe Trey Smith. There's a ton of offensive linemen. That's 5 guys right there. I'm hoping that 5 offensive linemen don't go off the board before our pick at 11 or at 10 in the second round. If we can get one of these 5 guys, that's an instant starter. That's a high-level starter, in my opinion, potentially. And if we can get one of these 5 guys, I'd be very, very happy. Landon Dickerson, of course, has the issues, but everybody else is pretty clean. Eichenberg can play guard and tackle. Tevin Jenkins has played guard and tackle, and Tevin Jenkins is someone that I would have taken if we had a pick at 15. So I'm definitely interested in targeting an offensive lineman heavy right here. I was hoping that Joe Tryon would fall. He got snatched up at the end of this first round. Joseph Osai is someone I'm considering. A couple of other pass rushers I would consider, but I think if one of these guys, Tevin Jenkins, Landon Dickerson, if one of these offensive linemen that I feel are really first round level guys, I'm 100% considering taking that offensive lineman before everything else. As far as round 3, at that point, it kind of opens up. We could go pass rusher, we could go linebacker. The value of there is probably at linebacker, so we could go either way in round 3. But I'm incredibly happy to have that future first round pick and have gotten, have this receiver position right now squared away. I think we're good for the next 2 or 3 years. We don't have to use a premium pick on a receiver. We don't have to spend premium money on a receiver. Galladay's your big body guy. Kadarius Toney is your shifty guy, who can get that yak. And Darius Slayton is a guy who can just stretch the field. And by the way, Kadarius Toney can also do that. But Darius Slayton's main thing is stretching the field. So they all complement each other. And Shep is another route runner, kind of possession receiver. So he's going to be here this year. He'll probably be gone next year. But I'm glad the receiving core is filling out. We just got to go and address this offensive line with this 10th pick. There are a ton of starting level guys. Let's get that done. Third round, we're looking at probably linebacker or edge rusher. It's got to be one of those two. Maybe if the value is there, we go corner. But I'm looking to come out of this day two with either a top tier, offensive lineman that I think about, or either a top tier kind of linebacker or edge rusher, because this is where the value for these positions are in this draft. If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.